For those of us keeping score at home, the Prime Minister is 0 for 3. He promised to, and I quote, negotiate a win with Trump by July 21st. There still is no deal, and tariffs are actually higher. He promised it would be elbows up. Then he quietly dropped counter tariffs. And what did he get in return? Nothing. He promised Canada would have the fastest growing economy in the G7. Instead, it's the fastest shrinking. The 86,000 Canadians who have lost their jobs since he took office can't afford to wait for the Prime Minister to get through this slump. So, when he comes home from Washington this week, will he have a deal to eliminate all U.S. tariffs? Or is that promise just stuff he said during the election?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
I know it's Monday, but I already have good news for the week, Mr. Speaker. This morning, Mr. Speaker, Canadians understand that the world is changing and we need to adapt, Mr. Speaker, and that we have a generational opportunity to invest in Canada. This morning, Mr. Speaker, we announced a new capital formation budgeting framework, Mr. Speaker, in a new budget cycle. My colleagues will be happy because it's going to give them more clarity to see the budget expenditure. It's going to provide more predictability to provinces, territory, and business. And, Mr. Speaker, the best of all, it's going to allow more opportunities to align with the budget season. Mr. Speaker, let's build it.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Changing the date they tell Canadians how bad inflation and deficits is going to be isn't going to give comfort to anybody, Mr. Speaker. And they have to get their story straight. When they're asked about job losses here at home, they say it's all because of U.S. tariffs. When they're asked why the Prime Minister can't get a win on those tariffs, they say Canada already has the best deal and that those tariffs don't apply to most goods. Both of those excuses cannot be true at the same time. But here is what is true. The deficit here has doubled. Canada has the second highest unemployment in the G7. 86,000 people have lost their jobs. So what is the reason? His failed trade diplomacy abroad or his failed economic policies at home?
The Honourable Minister of Canada, responsible for Canada-US trade.
That's exactly it, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, we remember the Conservatives standing up in this House with manufactured indignation that the Prime Minister should be talking to the President every day. The Prime Minister should be in Washington. Why hasn't he been in Washington? Good news, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister and the President speak frequently. They are in touch on a whole series of international issues, the most important of which is obviously the Canadian economy, Canadian workers, and Canadian jobs. And that's why we're looking forward to discussing those exact issues in the Oval Office tomorrow with the President.
The Honourable Member for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, Tyendinaga.
Mr. Speaker, today is the day. As the Prime Minister heads to Washington, Canadians are closely watching. After a string of failures, including the doubling of tariffs on Canadian goods and repeated missed deadlines on his promises to negotiate a win for Canada, expectations couldn't be higher. For months, this Prime Minister has talked a big game, but delivered nothing when it mattered most. Mr. Speaker, will he finally keep his word and deliver a real win for Canada and secure the removal of U.S. tariffs?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
We will always stand up for workers, always stand up for our industries, and that's why also when it comes to different sectors that are being tariffed, we are there to support them. Again, this morning I was on the phone with the CEO of Dofasco, making sure that we're there for our steelworkers. We were also working with Algoma Steel over the weekend, and you know what, Mr. Speaker? Good news, Irving Shipyard will be now buying steel from Algoma in Ontario. Mr. Speaker, this is what it is to build Canada strong.
The Honourable Member for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, Tyendinaga.
This government's message on the economy has been all over the place, Mr. Speaker. On one hand, they blame U.S. tariffs for Canadians' shrinking economy while boasting about the best trade deal with the U.S. The facts tell a different story. The deficit has doubled, second highest unemployment and fastest shrinking economy in the G7, $54 billion in investment fled, and 86,000 people out of work. Mr. Speaker, is this bleak reality the result of this Prime Minister's failed economic policies here at home, his failure to secure results abroad, or both?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Great job, Shelby. The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Speaker, we're focused on building relationship. And I asked my colleague opposite, is it a failure when we support our auto industry? Is it a failure when we support steel? Is it a failure when we support aluminum, Mr. Speaker? We beg to differ. We are diversifying our trade routes. We are building strong bilateral relationships across the world, including with the United States, Mr. Speaker. And on this side of the House, we will always fight for Canada. Vive le Canada!
The honourable member for Bowmanville, Oshawa North.
Mr. Speaker, GM is eliminating thousands of jobs in Oshawa, and Stellantis has idled its Windsor plant while sending $10 billion to the United States. Families across Ontario are rightly concerned that the Prime Minister has no plan for Canadian auto and no plan for impacted workers. Will the Prime Minister bring home a deal for Canadian auto that eliminates U.S. tariffs?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, we've been actively engaged with all the CEOs of the D3, Stellantis, GM, and of course Ford, as well as with Honda and Toyota. And we've put in place a remission system to make sure that they would be able to continue their operation and create jobs. Now, we know that the auto sector is facing a challenge. That's why also we're engaging with Unifor and the different labor unions. And at the same time, we have now a very important fund of $5 billion to help these plants. We will be there for our auto sector.
Hear, hear. Well done.
The Honourable Member for Mégantic-L'Érable-Lotbinière. The wait is over. Tomorrow will be a big day for this Liberal Prime Minister. A big day because tomorrow the PN will finally keep his promise and negotiate a win for Canada. Tomorrow, tariffs on steel, aluminum, automobiles, and lumber will be eliminated because that's what the PM promised, right? We encourage the PM to keep his promise to negotiate a win with the U.S. by July 21st. But he did not keep his promise. His grand strategy was to bow to the demands of the U.S. president, and tariffs have doubled. Tomorrow, will the PM finally keep his promise to negotiate a win and eliminate all U.S. tariffs on Canada? The Honourable Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker, today is a great day, Mr. Speaker. Canadians understand that the world has changed. We have to adapt. And in terms of capital investment, well, we presented a new budget framework and updated the budgetary cycle. This is good news. It provides clarity to my colleagues. It allows them to see budgetary measures. And it also allows companies and provinces and associations that depend on federal funds to have greater clarity and opportunity for construction in this country. When we'll consider celebrate, they will be building a strong Canada. The Honourable Member for Mégantic-L'Érable. Clarity, Mr. Speaker? Let's talk about that. The Liberal position on the economy isn't clear. On the one hand, they claim that the collapse of the economy, well, the worst in the G7, is due to tariffs. On the other hand, they say they've reached an excellent deal on tariffs. But what do the real figures say? The deficit has doubled. Canada is the G7 economy with the sharpest contraction and the second highest unemployment. $52 billion in net investment has fled the country, and 86,000 people have lost their jobs. Is the Prime Minister a poor diplomat, or a poor comments for Canada, or just quite simply bad? The Honourable Minister. I'm really sad when I hear what the Conservatives are saying. Canada has an enviable position in the G7. We have the lowest debt-to-GDP ratio, and one of the two G7 countries that has a AAA rating. But instead of talking down the Canadian economy, they should be proud of making a strong Canada, that we're building a strong Canada together and investing and making generational investment. We're working for Canada and Canadians and workers.